you very much. I think we've heard Michael telling us that imaging is not enough, we need quantification. And what I'm going to tell you about today is the exact same thing, except I'm going to deal with ultrasound. I'm Cluade Cohen-Bacrie. I've been working in the field of ultrasound imaging for the last almost 30 years. Used to be in charge of research at Philips and then created the first company in radiology ultrasound, this type of product. And today with e-Scopics, what we want is to democratize the use of ultrasound. And as we said, imaging is just not enough. We need to have quantitative biomarkers so that the adoption of ultrasound would be easier. So we've basically softwareized ultrasound. We've transformed it into a pure software. And we allow, therefore, new business model to be used for commercialization of this ultrasound device. And we dedicate we create applications that are dedicated to clinical use, and we basically sell as a service this ultrasound capability with the capability also of adding quantitative biomarkers, as you will see. We do nothing more than what other industries have done. The democratization of the photo industry is the result of a softwareization of cameras. The reason why we have nice photos on our smartphones today is because there's a lot of software that's running on the background of this camera, and we can have the same image quality almost than on professional cameras. So softwareization has been the driver for us of this democratization of ultrasound. And obviously the problem we target is the bottleneck that radiology represents today when you want to have a diagnosis. So in order to solve that bottleneck, already ultra-portable ultrasound devices have been created, and they have been creating a new market within ultrasound called point-of-care ultrasound. And this new market is today driving the growth of the ultrasound overall market. It's no longer radiology, cardiology, OBGYN. It's point of care, and within point of care, we find emergency and anesthesiology as two primary sub-markets within point of care. However, these devices that have miniaturized the hardware of an ultrasound system provide affordability and accessibility of ultrasound, but you still have to have the expertise in interpretation of images. And this is where e-Scopics comes into the picture with a new approach to miniaturization, which is in fact dematerialization. We've taken out the engine of ultrasound and we created a software for it. So the only thing you need to have as a transducer, that is a dumb kind of sensor that sends its data to a computer that then computes images, but also computes imaging, quantitative imaging biomarkers. And on this example, here we see a map of the stiffness of the liver. So it's not just ultrasound image of the liver, it's measuring the stiffness of the liver, and we know that stiffness is correlated to fibrosis. So this becomes a biomarker for hepatologists, diabetologists that are searching for non-alcoholic steatohepatitis patients to be able to directly diagnose this disease. We've also developed this software architecture for ultrasound, leveraging what we call frugal imaging. We send very little energy into the patient. And in fact, we've been also able to leverage that component of the platform. So far, we've created first product called Hepatoscope. It's an app that uses a curved array transducer, and we actually demo this product in the product pavilion. And you can image the liver, but also position within the liver region of interest where you are going to measure stiffness related to fibrosis, and when you are going to be able to measure parameters related to the brightness of an image that are related to steatosis, so the fat in the liver. We are targeting with this hepatoscope the huge clinical need of screening of patients that have fatty liver and fibrosis in order to treat them. And when we are talking about fatty liver disease, we are talking 25% of the global population. If now you focus on the type 2 diabetes patient, we are talking about 50% of this population. So a huge clinical need here for a hepatoscope to screen devices. Number one, for clinical trials, and we have a lot of pharma companies that are developing drugs for NASH, but also at the end of the day for diabetologists that are following their patients, and even in primary care, where the detection is now happening in the US. This is a first market where we developed the app end-to-end, but we also licensed this platform, and we licensed it to a US partner that is now taking his own transducer, his own intravascular transducer, and has created a new generation of intravascular ultrasound. That's to monitor thrombus resection and vessel wall diagnosis. So when you list these different organs that we can target with ultrasound, and all soft organs can be targeted with ultrasound, we can actually develop apps upstream from diagnosis, so for detection. We can develop apps downstream for intervention, guiding intervention, for example. And we've identified with a B2B business model a list of potential customers that we've engaged with to basically put our engine, our e-Scopics inside ultrasound engine within their devices. So we have a dual business model where we develop our own apps. This is going to be for liver, and next is going to be for vascular applications, but also a B2B application, a B2B business model where we insert our ultrasound engine inside third-party devices, image-guided robotic devices, for example. We are supported by, obviously, a very liver-biased clinical advisory board today, and we've based our technology on an innovation that is coming from École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne in Switzerland, which is basically reinventing the way you reconstruct images with ultrasound. And these AI-based image reconstruction techniques are especially interesting when you want to use very little energy inside the body, which is actually what you need as soon as you want to go inside the body for imaging with ultrasound. So I would say that as a conclusion, we've changed the paradigm of ultrasound imaging. We've transformed this into a software, no more hardware. Even when you find today ultra-portable devices, they have in the handle of the probe engines to reconstruct imaging. This is causing a lot of heat dissipation. This is consuming a lot of energy. They have to have a battery inside. We removed all this. We've created a software that replaces this, and we can basically adapt to any transducer to make a software-based application with this transducer. It's an e-Scopics inside strategy because we want to spread ultrasound both upstream and downstream with this model. And of course, because there's nothing in the probe, there's no image reconstruction in the probe is only used to transfer data. This data, when it is transferred to the computer to reconstruct images, is also stored in the cloud. And these data are raw data. This is not image data that we will be able to learn from. And as a matter of fact, we are engaged already with our partner in a program where we learn from intervention, from all this data that are gathered within the interventional procedure. We learn about what is the signature of the tissue we image during intervention in order to create additional biomarkers that will have no physical meaning. It's not going to be a physical parameter that we will estimate, but an AI-based model based on this raw data in order to further improve and further quantify the images that we provide. Thank you very much for your attention.